Chloe. This time, it's a story I heard in Korea about a truly bizarre and sad mystery that an OBGYN experienced. A visit from the dead. Why do you think she came to find him? The story begins at an obstetrics and gynecology clinic. A young doctor named Jin-soo had just finished an examination with an expectant mother. Despite her due date being 2 months away, she was strangely insistent, saying, "I want to have the baby today. I absolutely have to give birth today." Jin-soo calmed her down, explaining that a baby needs to be born when its time comes to be healthy, and sent her home. But a few moments later, the same woman burst back into his office. This time, she was holding a sharp knife. "Cut my stomach open and take this baby out right now. If you don't, I'll kill myself right here," she started screaming. Faced with her desperate, frantic state, Jin-soo suggested they start with an ultrasound just to buy some time and calm her down. But, Chloe, what appeared on the ultrasound monitor was utterly shocking. The fetus in the mother's womb had no face. The space where the eyes, nose, and mouth should have been was just a smooth mass of flesh. It was a condition medically known as anencephaly. Jin-soo judged that the fetus wouldn't survive long anyway, and that leaving it could endanger the mother. Hiding the truth about the baby's condition from her, he had her sign a consent form and rushed her into a C-section. The surgery was as difficult as expected, and the baby was born just as the ultrasound had shown, without a face. But at that very moment, something terrible happened. The mother, who had shown no signs of distress during the surgery, suddenly passed away. Jin-soo tried desperately to resuscitate her, but she was gone. That night, unable to sleep from the guilt, Jin-soo sat alone in his office. It was the first time he had ever lost a patient during surgery. More than anything, the woman's bizarre insistence on giving birth today haunted him. It was then that he glanced out his window and saw the operating room across the way. The very room where he had operated on her was brightly lit. Did someone forget to turn off the lights? He thought. He walked down the hall to the OR, but there was no one inside. He switched off the light and went back to his office. But when he looked out the window again, the light he had just turned off was on again. Thinking someone was playing a prank on him, he went back, but the room was still empty. A chill ran down his spine. He called a nurse to his office. He was too scared to be alone. A moment later, there was a knock on his office door. "Come in," he said. And the door opened, and standing there was the very same woman who had died that afternoon, still in her white hospital gown. She stared at him without a word, and then slowly faded away. The next morning, terrified, Jin-soo's first stop was the hospital morgue, but there was nothing there. The bodies of the mother and her faceless child had both vanished without a trace. Even the surgical consent form she had signed had disappeared from the pile of documents. It was as if the events of the previous day had never happened at all. There was only one clue left, the name and address he remembered from her form. As if possessed, he got in his car and drove to the address she had written, a rural village in South Jolo Province. After asking around the village, Jin-soo learned the shocking truth. Her name was Choi Jong-suk. She was a teacher at the local school, and 4 days prior, she had hanged herself from a large Zelkava tree on the school grounds. 4 days ago, that was 2 days before she walked into his clinic. When he went to the school and saw her photograph, his blood ran cold. The woman in the photo was undoubtedly the same woman he had operated on. She had fallen in love and had a child with a fellow teacher, but the man, citing his parents' disapproval, had abandoned her and the baby. Faced with the sorrow of lost love, the pointing fingers of the townspeople, and the pressure to get rid of the child, she had ultimately chosen to leave the world, taking her unborn baby with her. So, Chloe, why do you think it happened? She was already dead, so why, in the 2 days before her body was discovered, did her spirit seek out Dr. Jinsu? Was it a mother's last wish to let her child see the light of the world, even for a single day? Or was it the desperate obsession of a restless spirit, a soul unable to leave this world, torn between the sorrow of being abandoned and the guilt of not being able to protect her child?